All right, what the heck is going on, my dudes? We got the newest champ entering MCOC today. We got Gladiator. So, yeah, obviously, I'm pretty excited about this guy, dude. He's the newest Summoner's Choice champion. He's coming after Hercules, coming after Quicksilver. I was voting for this guy. I'm personally very happy with how he turned out. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about him. He's a very interesting champion. He does some very interesting things. I'm personally a rather big fan of him. I'm very interested to see how people feel about playing him because he does have a bit of a skill cap in order to really maximize his potential and take him even further beyond. Get it? Because that's what the SIG ability is called. I've made that joke way too many times this month, even in the Ascension video, so I have to stop. Someone has to stop me. All right, let's jump into it today. Talking about Gladiator, dude. All right, so Strontian physiology, man. So basically, Rintra can't just like completely destroy him because Rintra is kind of a busted 2A champion, and that neutralize is really powerful. Tiger can still apply neutralize to him though, so like Tiger can still fight him really well. It's just like Rintra is not just like a brick wall against him. So he has 300% ability accuracy on his personal buffs, which is really good as an attacker, right? But yeah, he's also immune to power drain, power burn because Penny Parker exists. So yeah, heavy attacks. On a heavy attack, when you attack them with the heavy attack under 2 bars of power, you put a pretty chunky intimidate debuff on the opponent, and it pretty much like shoves them into the corner and it makes them block, and it's pretty darn cool, man. On top of that, he has the America Chavez / Wasp heavy attack thing with a passive stun in the middle, which is really, really nice. The heavy attack stun that America Chavez has is exceptionally useful for many things. You know, that is like, for example, like ebb and flow knockdown, stuff like that, and like Alliance War in Path 5. There's been so many times where I've been like, you know, planning war, and I see like a Shuri on node like 19, and I'm like, Gladiator, and I'm like, crap, he doesn't actually exist yet. So yeah, so you knock the opponent down, they go debuff immune, right? You could still knock them down by attacking them and chaining your heavy with passive stun. Really, really cool. Of course, that debuff immune node is going to mess with his intimidate, so he might not be the best there even still, but just in general, you know, nodes like that get that really nice, easy opening on the knockdown. So, confidence buffs, all right? Confidence buffs are indefinite and have 3% potency. It's increased by 1% flat when fighting on a final boss node. So confidence buffs, it should have a glossary, but it does not. Basically, confidence increases your attack and defense by the given potency. So each confidence buff is going to increase his attack and armor by 3%, all right? Which is pretty darn chunky, especially when you get all 24 of them. That's a decent bit. It's about, give or take, 75%, you know, increased attack after a ramp, which is not too hard to ramp up. Okay, now you gain confidence like this. When you strike the opponent with a heavy attack, you knock them down, you gain 2. When you hit them while they are intimidated, you gain 1. This counts for the block. This counts for actually hitting them in the face, okay? So knock them down, put the intimidate on, hit them either on their block or to their face, and you're going to gain 4 more. Essentially, you're going to do a 4-hit combo, okay? Either into their block or into their face. So that is pretty much all you need to know about the confidence. You know, it's going to break down the stuff you need to know. If you want to know everything, go watch the deep dive, okay? So, on defense, he's not much of a defender. I wouldn't really mind him getting a bit of a defensive buff, so he's a little bit more of a 2A in a few months. So, but basically, you know, the thing is though, like depending on the node, he could get rough depending on the node. There's no doubt about that. But he gains a confidence buff every 2 seconds. Hitting him removes 1. Knocking him down with the special pauses it for 8 seconds. So you can really keep this confidence off of him as long as you keep hitting him and staying aggressive, stuff like that. So yeah. So, super confident. Once he gets 12 confidence buffs, he gets super confident. And when he uses the special attack, he gains an emboldened passive for 5 seconds, and this should also have a glossary. It doesn't though. So the emboldened passive essentially makes him immune to nullify, stagger, and fate steal effects. But again, like this is not going to be super duper relevant on defense because he would have to not be hit for 24 seconds straight in order to get 12 confidence buffs, right? So you can avoid this with your mystics, and you can be nullifying him when he doesn't have this, all right? So At this point, with 12 or more confidence buffs, when you hit the opponent with a heavy attack, you're going to gain an unblockable buff for 2 seconds. This unblockable is paused during Gladiator special attacks. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds, so that's a very, very short cooldown. So this guy is unblockable very often on offense. Also, while benefiting from an unblockable buff, heavy and special attacks deal an additional 90% of damage recently dealt as a burst of physical. So it's kind of like a trauma effect, essentially. Trauma, I believe, sits at 100%? I actually don't know. I think it might depend. But anyway, point being, it's pretty much like trauma. So it's kind of doubling your damage output, kind of like Hercules' feats. This would kind of be like you have 9 feats of strength with Hercules when you're unblockable and doing a special attack and a heavy attack. That is the best way to phrase that. Basically, it's that additional red damage, okay? Once you hit 24 confidence buffs, you are ultra confident. This is his max ramp like in the first fight. This happens very quickly, by the way, if you know how to play him, okay? So at this point, personal unstoppable buffs are paused during the opponent's special attacks, and while the pause is active, Gladiator is immune to the opponent's stun effects, and while attacking the opponent within striking distance, during or immediately after their special attacks, incoming damage from hits is reduced by 80%, and basic attacks deal a burst of physical damage again, and this scales with modified attack, so that 9656 number is going to be juiced up by the confidence buffs, also your masteries, your boosts, stuff like that, okay? So yeah, modified attack, good. Base attack, depends. Gallon's base attack, and he's really good, but Surfer's also base attack, and you know, it feels bad when you like boost him up and then the burst damage stays the same, right? Stuff like that. So yeah, that doesn't happen with Gladiator. His burst is really, really good at ultra confidence. So this is where like the skill cap comes into play. If you're like, let's just be like completely frank, if you're really good at the game and you're good at like, you know, chasing specials and attacking during specials, it's a new acquired skill. If you take the time to learn this, you're going to be getting a lot of damage out of this guy. But even if you don't, okay? And this is why I think he's really well designed here. Even if you don't want to do that, just punishing the defender's specials, kind of like Overseer, you're going to be getting this burst. There's a really nice window for the recovery after the special attack that you're going to be able to get that extra burst damage, which is nice, all right? Now, special 1, unstoppable buff, 4 seconds after the special attack, okay? Cold Snap for 12 seconds. This is more than just a cold snap. What this pretty much does is, unless the defender is cold snap immune or, you know, debuff immune, whatever, it's going to make him an evade counter after special 1. And 12 seconds is more than enough time to get back to a special 1 to keep that consistent evade counter up. So he has some nice secret sneaky utility baked into his kit there with the cold snap. On the special 2, he also counters miss. He is the 3rd Summoner's Choice champion to counter miss. So Hercules counters miss, Quicksilver counters miss and evade, and so does so does Gladiator. We'll see what happens next year. So and Hercules also does auto block. So on activation, it's a very funny theme there to me. So on activation, gain a vigilance buff for 20 seconds, and that's going to counter miss. Each eye beam inflicts an incinerate debuff, dealing you know, a decent amount of damage over 20 seconds, right? And these effects can happen through blocks. So when you're fighting him, just be careful. Try not to block them because they're going to get kind of chunky through the block. Now, the special 3, this is really interesting. Increase the confidence limit by 4. This can happen once per fight. So instead of 24, you can have 28 on the first fight, all right? This, I really don't use this very often. Like if you're using him in Battlegrounds or War, I really don't use this. If you're using him in like Realm of Legends, go for it. Go nuts. You just don't really need it. What this is going to be good for is if you watch the deep dive, like the part with the Null when I was like attacking him during his special 2, you're going to want the extra confidence buffs for that, all right? I'll probably show you the deep dive video because I liked it. All right, so on top of that, you gain a power gain buff granting 100% of more power over 5 seconds. So yeah, man, let's talk about his Sig ability now. When winning a fight with more than half of his health, he adds 4 to his persistent confidence limit. This happens 2 times per quest, right? It happens 2 times, max of 8. So you can essentially get up to 36 buffs after the special 3, which is a lot. That's a lot of extra attack with 3% added attack each, 4% on the final boss node, right? And also, nice bit of utility here. While benefiting from a vigilance effect, all hits deal passive true damage. Now this is great for Shuri, Lady Deathstrike, champions that we aren't really seeing in like content yet, but we are going to be seeing in the future, right? Feels like he's like countering some relevant tech defenders now, which is really, really nice. Also, opponents' armor up effects suffer up to 100% reduced ability accuracy. So like Omega Sentinel, Captain Sam Wilson, right? They're not going to be getting their armor up effects, which is really, really nice after Special 2. So that's some really nice utility baked into his kit. But let's start jumping into some, oh my goodness, gameplay today, okay? So we're going to be beating up on the Star-Lord on the test map here. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you something right now. This is the key to maximizing Gladiator, and it's this right here. Watch what I do after I knock them down. I'm going to dash back and dash in. That is huge. It is huge. The Intimidate debuff is going to make them dash back. If you dash back, this is like all my years of playing Spidey 2099, just like I'm throwing the hit block playstyle onto you right now. If you dash back, it's not 100% guarantee. High chance, instead of dashing back, the opponent is going to go, what are you doing? And block, all right? So, you hit block 4 times. Boom. Here again, dash back. He just stays there, right? We have 12 confidence buffs. We're going to bait out a special attack. Boom. Go in. Heavy attack, unblockable. 4 times through. Heavy attack again. Intimidate. Watch the bar of power here. 2 bars. Bait the special 2. Watch the burst. Burst. All right? Just like Overseer. At this point, going to build to about 2.7 bars of power. All right? Once we do that, bam. Unblockable, special 2, watch the burst. Burst, burst, burst. Nice. Go right in. Would have went for a special 1 to finish it off. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So yeah, that is how you want to like maximize him. That is like the best rotation for him in my opinion. You're going to ramp super duper quickly and you're going to just do really cool things, man. All right, I worked really hard on this and we're going to watch it.
To begin, strike and chain your heavy to intimidate the opponent and start building your confidence. Repeat the process and smash into their block while they're intimidated until you're super confident. At this point, you could bait a special so your opponent has low power. Then, use your heavy again, but this time, you'll be unblockable. Just before your intimidate fades away, chain another heavy to intimidate them once more and finish your ramp, just like that. Now that you're ultra confident, you'll inflict burst damage while attacking during and immediately after the opponent's special attacks. So keep that in mind while building to just under your special 3. Then, knock the opponent down with your heavy and immediately launch your special 2 while unblockable to deal additional bursts. Then, if possible, chain a combo into your special 1 before the unblockable expires to do it again. If the opponent isn't already knocked out, just continue your assault until they are. And if you're questing and push even further beyond, you could take advantage of your extra confidence buffs and burst the opponent down during their special attacks. So keep that confidence high, but don't get too cocky.
I think that's so cool, dude. I think that mechanic is so freaking cool and so much fun. So that is how you want to really maximize Gladiator. It's the best and quickest way to ramp him up very quickly, right? It's pretty darn consistent with the Intimidate debuff. As you can see, that AI manipulation is really, really great here. I could show it to you here against Mr. Hulk. So one thing, this is Realm of Legends, right? I've said many times, don't test in Realm of Legends because the AI is awful, and that is very, very true, especially for like AI manipulation, because they don't really listen to it. It's really weird. Like the Realm of Legends AI is like terrible. It's like terrible. So don't test this guy in Realm of Legends. You can, he has the damage for it, right? Clearly, but just keep in mind that like the AI is just really awful and you want a nice AI when you're using this guy, all right? But as you can see, Hulk has 75% of his health here. We're ramped up. We're at 32, right? I believe we can get to 36 here even. Going in here, bam, for a heavy attack probably. Nice. Gonna go right in, 36. Special 2. Yeah, that's some decent damage, guys. That's some decent damage right there. That's about 300,000 health from that rotation, which is usually more than you're ever going to need, right? You could build back up to special 2, or you can go for special 1 here. Either way, lots of damage over time from the debuffs and all the stuff. Yeah, it's really not too bad at all. One thing I really like about him as well, as a Herald, really fun, because the unblockable mechanic, that Fury, by the way, is from like the Nova synergy. It's like you pass a bar of power, you gain a Fury. It's like 5% potency. But watch this. I'm actually going to hit his block on purpose to trigger the unblockable from Gallon. And then when I go for a special 1, guess who has another unblockable? This guy. So yeah, you get uptime on the special 1 or on the unblockable, which is pretty nice. All right, so let's look at some utility stuff here. I absolutely love this guy for Shuri. He's my favorite Shuri counter. The reason being is because once you get to that special 2, which is about once you're ramped, you're going to be removing her kinetic matrix. You know, there's also champions like I believe like Corvus also counter Shuri well for like stuff like Alliance War and stuff. But you know, I mean, you know, Corvus is great. But for like battlegrounds and stuff, dude, I'm really gonna want a Gladiator for like Shuri. Because watch right here, after we go for the special 2, she's dead. So once you go for the special 2, you get but you do need your SIG ability for this though. That's the one thing, is once you have the SIG ability, you're going to be doing true damage on every hit, which is going to be removing her kinetic matrix, which is really nice for fighting Shuri. That is really nice for fighting Shuri. Now, when it comes to Penny Parker, right, obviously, hitting block is a great way to get down her shield. All right, and that's pretty darn native to Gladiator. You're going to want to be hitting her block a lot, as we can see here. So just naturally playing him, we're going to be taking down her shield a lot. We're also unblockable here, which is great. You go for a nice little heavy attack there. Sweet. Bait out a special 2. All right, you do still have to watch out for her shield here, keep in mind. So you might not want to go for like the heavy attacks like that, like I just did. I want to be a little bit more careful. But when you do get auto-blocked, you know, just like every new Cosmic Champion since Penny Parker was released, he's immune to Power Burn, immune to Power Drain, you know. She's immune to Incinerate, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need the Incinerate. It's some nice extra damage. We got the nice burst there, which is really nice. Up next, we have a Mega Sentinel here. Now, once we get to the special 2, you'll notice here, I'm not ramped or anything, I just got hit to build power. She's not going to be gaining her armors, which is really nice because that's how she auto blocks and stuff like that. So that's what really makes her a defensive threat, is her armors. So that SIG ability is really interesting. It's kind of like it's like a replacement for armor break, where they just don't gain armors after special 2 with the vigilance, which is nice. You know, armor break at the end of the day is just easier. But it's nice. Here's another one. So Lady Deathstrike is a bit of a menace on defense when you don't have a counter. Nice start there for me. But basically, again, once you're ramped, that's when you get to like your special 2. And then from there, you're going to be doing true damage. So the thing with Lady Deathstrike is that her nanobot regenerator is pretty darn annoying on defense. Makes her like a brick wall. Right? She can cause a lot of timeouts and battlegrounds, stuff like that, annoying in war. You could bet your life that we're going to be seeing annoying Lady Deathstrikes in content in the future, right? So at this point, check it out. No regen because of the true damage, right? So again, you do really need to be awakened for that, but very useful for Lady Deathstrike. Up next, we got Spider-Gwen. Why Spider-Gwen? Because she's one of the most annoying evaders in the entire game. So we're going to go ahead and check out that special 1 utility. When you hit her block, she's not going to evade, so you can ramp him up very nice. He has the passive stun, so she's not going to evade during that. Boom. Cold Snap for 12 seconds here. You could build to like 1.5 bars of power in order to easier, chain them. But as you can see here, I could have actually knocked her down with a heavy attack there when unblockable. But yeah, the cold snap, very, very solid for countering evade, and you could ramp all at the same time, and you're consistently unstoppable as well. So I could definitely see people like leaning towards like a special 1 spam playstyle with him, because you pretty much have like 100% uptime unstoppable that way. I'm a much bigger fan of the special 2. It does more damage, you get more burst damage that way. It's also more fun, more satisfying in my opinion, but you totally can spam special 1s. Keeping the spider theme here and the getting hit theme to build power. Pro strat. Special 2, vigilance. You're not gonna miss. You're not gonna miss. It's a 20-second vigilance. Pretty darn lengthy there, so that's really nice, man. So, things that normally counter champions like Gladiator, like evade, miss, stuff like that, not going to counter him. He has a nice answer to those problems. Up next, we have something I don't recommend you do, but if your back is against the wall and there's a Rincher on defense and you happen to have a Gladiator on offense, it can happen. You can do it. Do I recommend it? Not unless you have to, because at the end of the day, Mystic Dispersion is a thing, all right? It can get you. I think I'm actually running Mystic Dispersion here, funny enough. So that's perfect. Perfect example here of why you shouldn't do this, but you can, all right? So here, I'm not fully ramped, so I'm not going to go in and like attack him during the special 2, although I normally would. Here, we're going to go ahead, go for the special 2 here, knock him down, right? All the heavies and stuff, it's going to keep him, nice burst, right? All the heavies, it's going to keep him controlled with his cow charges. He's actually, honestly, man, I'm thinking about it more. It's really not the worst. It's really not the worst Rincher counter in the game. I still don't think I recommend it, but that special 1 has a lot of downtime for that burst. You can get like 100,000 damage on that special 1. I think I'm changing my mind. I think I might start recommending it. I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you. All right, we have one more fight here against Gallon. So Gallon has his mass. He's a little hard to, juggle with that stuff. But this is a perfect example of a relevant defender who has a very lengthy special 1 here that you can really punish, all right? So I have to alter my playstyle a little bit here in order to just control his mass here. So I'm going to bait out one more special 1 actually, but watch this. Watch the damage on the special 1. If he throws it ever. Right, and keep in mind, I'm using a 5-star here, by the way, just because so they don't die quickly, so that it's like a more relevant matchup in a way. But yeah, his mass is now under control here, and we're going to be continuing this process of doing that kind of thing with him, man. So yeah, personally, I'm a huge fan of I call it special chasing, where you attack, where you go into them during their special attacks, and I do this with like most champions to like stay very close to them so I can punish them after specials. So this type of playstyle is like something that I do with most champions. So personally, I'm a big fan of like the burst damage thing at ultra confidence. I feel like a lot of people aren't going to be a fan of it. That's totally okay. You don't have to be. I personally am. But that's Gladiator. That's how he works. That's how you want to maximize him. I said it towards the beginning of the video. I'll say it again. Dashing back after your heavy attack is the key to playing this guy. It is the key. It is the key. It is so important. It is so important to maximizing him and manipulating the AI. Manipulating the AI with these types of champions, Gladiator, Adam Warlock, right, Mantis, it is so important. And if you don't manipulate the AI, you're not going to get the most out of them, and you're not going to enjoy them. So that's huge. So when you try him out, dash back before dashing in, okay? Do it, please. And I think I don't recommend fighting Rincher with him unless you have to. Or maybe I do. I don't know, man. I gotta try it more. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you could drop your boy a big old like, let me know what you think about Gladiator in the comment section below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future champion breakdowns coming to you in the future. I'll be seeing you around, man.